In this next problem, we will be dividing 4,026 divided by 5. Now this problem, we have 4 places, the ones, the tens, the hundreds, and the thousands. So as we draw our box, we will need 4 places. The ones, the tens, the hundreds, and the thousands. Pause the video so you can do this. Now we need to put this number into our box to be divided. 4,000, 0 hundreds, 2 tens, and 6 ones. Divided by 5. Alright, so we're going to start in the largest place with the 4,000s. In your mind, I want you to visualize 4,000s cubes. Can you picture it? We're dividing these 4,000s cubes into 5 groups because we're dividing by 5. If we put 1 in each group, there will be one that does not have 1,000. So we cannot put the thousands cubes equally in each group. Therefore, we must put a 0, that we use 0 thousands when we were dividing. Let's check. 0 times 5 is 0. How many thousands cubes did we not use? We didn't use 4. So, what do we have to do with these 4,000s cubes? We have to regroup them. Okay, here's my question. How many hundreds are in 1,000? Well, if we stacked up 10 hundreds, that would make 1,000. So we know that there are 10 hundreds, 10 hundreds in this thousands, 10 hundreds in this thousands, and 10 hundreds in this thousands. Altogether, that is 40 hundreds. When we move our 4 and regroup it into the hundreds, we know we have 40 hundreds. Yes, that works. So now we have 40 divided by 5. 40 divided by 5. If you skip count by 5s, how many times will you need to skip count to get to 40? Pause the video and do that. Did you say 8? Yes. 40 divided by 5 is 8. Let's check. 8 times 5 is 40. So I'm going to try and put 800s in each of the circles. All right, so we have 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. So we used all of the 40 hundreds, and now we have no hundreds left. So we do not need to regroup anything because there is nothing left. We used all of the hundreds from all 4,000s. All right, now we have 2 tens. So visualize 2 tens in your mind. Right? Okay, can we divide 2 tens into 5 groups? No, we can't because 2 is smaller than 5, so we cannot evenly put these 2 into 5 groups. So again, we're going to have 0 because it didn't work. What is 0 times 5? 0. 2 minus 0 means that we still have 2 tens left. If we regroup these 2 tens, how many ones are in 2 tens? So how many ones are there in 2 tens? There's 20 ones. So we're going to regroup our 2 ones into the 21s. We already have 6 there, so now we have 26 ones. Here I've regrouped the 2 tens into 21s, and here are the 6 ones that I already had in the ones place. There we have 26 ones. Can we evenly put these into 5 groups? What is 26 divided by 5? Go ahead and count by 5s until you get to 26 without going over. We know that 5 times 5 is 25, and that's very close to 26 without going over. So we know that there will be 5 ones in each of our 5 groups. So where do we put the 5? Above the ones place. 5 times 5 is 25. So there's 5 in each group. How many is left over? 26 minus 25 is 1. And here we can see we have 1 remaining. So here's our 1 remainder. When we have 1, we call it 1 remaining. We know that if we wanted to keep going and divide by decimals, which we'll do in 5th grade, that we'd just put a decimal point here and draw another box, which is called the tenths, and regroup that 1 into 10 tenths. So that is how, when you do it on a calculator, how you get that really long number. Sometimes that's after the decimal. So we know that 4,026 divided by 5 is 805 in each group. Here we have our 800s and our 5 ones in each of the 5 groups. What does this remainder 1 mean? It means that there's 1 that could not be put equally into the 5 groups. So let's quickly check our work. Our answer, 805, can be multiplied 5 times. If we multiply it 5 times, we would see how much did we start with. And our goal is that we start with 4,026. So I'm going to quickly draw an area model to check my work. And in my area model, I'm going to do 805 times 5. We have the ones, the tens, and the hundreds, so I need 3 places, the ones, the tens, and the hundreds. 800 plus nothing plus 5 times 5. So we'll do 800 times 5, 0 times 5, and 5 times 5. Go ahead and multiply each of those and then add them up. If you get as your answer what we started with, 4,026, that is awesome. That means that all of your math was correct in your division. Don't forget to add your remainder at the end if you're 1 off, because there's 1 extra. If you just multiply, you're just seeing how many are in the equal groups. So go ahead and try that. When you get 4,026, go ahead and write it here. If you do not get it, raise your hand. All right, this one we're going to do a little bit faster. 5,588 divided by 8. Let's make our box model. And we know that our number that we're dividing has 1, 2, 3, 4 places. So we divide our box into 4 parts. For the ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands place. Now remember, I know I'm going pretty quick, so pause the video whenever you need more time. All right, now it's your turn. Please put the numbers for this problem into your box model. We have 5,588 divided by 8. Awesome. Let's get started. This time I'm not going to draw as many of the base 10 blocks over here, because we know that the base 10 blocks are not as efficient as using our box model. So we're going to start in the ones place or in the thousands place? In the thousands place, in case we need to regroup. We have 5,000s. Picture your 5,000s cubes. Can we divide those into 8 groups? No, there'd be 3 groups that don't have a thousands cube. So we're going to have to say, no, that doesn't work. When it doesn't work, we put a 0 above that place. 0 times 8 is 0. We know that we still have 5,000s cubes that we need to regroup. So 5,000s will be regrouped into the hundreds. How many hundreds are in 1,000? That's written here. How many hundreds are in 1,000? 10 hundreds are in 1,000. So if we think about our 5,000s cubes that we visualized, how many hundreds are in 5,000s? Well, we would count by tens 5 times. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So that is how we get 50 hundreds. And there's already 5 in the hundreds place, so now we have 55. All right, now we can divide 55 divided by 8. So 8's a pretty tricky number to work with. So we're going to skip count by 8s. Go ahead and on the side of your paper, wherever you have room, skip count by 8s. Pause the video while you do this. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56. And at this point, we have gone over the number 55, so we can stop. You could keep counting till you get to 80 if you wanted to do all of your multiples of 8 up to 10, but it's not necessary. So 55 divided by 8. We know that 55 is between 48 and 56, so we have to stop when we get to 48. 8 times 1, 8 times 2, 8 times 3, 8 times 4, 8 times 5, 8 times 6. So we know that 8 times 6 equals 48. And we can't go over 55. So we're going to say, all right, 55 divided by 8 is we can use 6 in each group. There's going to be 6 hundreds in each group of 8. 6 times 8 is 48. When we put 6 in each group, we will use 48 hundredths. All right. 48 taken away from 55. I think it's easiest to count up. 48, and we're going to count up to 55. 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. That was 7. So there's 7 hundredths that are left over. Wow. All right. So now we have 7 hundredths that are left over. Can we regroup 7 hundredths? Yes, we can make them into tens. How many tens are there in 700s? There's 70. So the 7 goes in the tens column, and there's already 8 tens there. So now we have 78 tens. Let's continue skip counting till we get to 78. Pause the video. 8 more than 56 is 64. 8 more is 72. And 8 more is 80. All right, when we got to 80, we went over 78. So we must use 72 because that's the number that does not go over 78. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 groups of 8. So where will the 9 go? Above the tens. 9 tens in each group. 9 times 8 is 72. We used 72 tens. Now we're going to take away those 72 tens. 8 minus 2 is 6. And 7 minus 7 is nothing. So now we have 6 tens left over. We're doing a ton of regrouping in this problem. How many ones are in 6 tens? Do you know? Yeah, there are 60 ones in 6 tens. So we're going to regroup this 6 tens into 60 ones. We already have 8 ones there, so now we have 68. 68 divided by 8. Let's see how many groups we can make till we get to close to 68. We know that 68's been in between 64 and 72, so we will stop here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we are going to use 8 in each group. 8 times 8 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 64. If we use 64, how many are left? 8 minus 4 is 4. 6 minus 6, nothing. Can we regroup these 4 to the next column? We are going to use a remainder. So there are actually 4 left over that do not fit equally into the 8 groups. So we found that 5,588 divided by 8 is 698. Let's check that. 698 times how many groups? 8 groups. We'll see what we get. We're drawing our area model. We know that we have 3 places in our answer, the ones, the tens, and the hundreds. So we will have 3 places here. 698 would be 600 plus 90 plus 8 times 8. Go ahead and multiply. Find your answers, and then add them up. When you add them up, you should get your answer as being 5,088. If you don't, remember, we had 4 that we didn't use. If you add those 4 remaining, that should give you 5,088. Once you've done that, you can give yourself a star. Good job.